The big one is Flint, and I'm here to tell you, Flint, you shall get no justice. The water got switched April 24, 2014. Right down September 6th, 2022. You shall get no justice. I'm just going to let this tape roll. This was filmed yesterday. This was the lead investigator before Nessel came in. Before Nessel was even nominated as the Democratic candidate for Attorney General, she was telling people, I'm going to fire the investigators, get rid of everything, and start over. Well, she started over and fucked the whole thing up. This is not in there. I'm going to tell you this. A couple of the emergency managers were charged, right, with a slew of things. They were cooperating.
Really?
They were going to start going up. These cases, these racketeering cases, this is mob shit.
Yeah.
They were cooperating. Then Nessel starts talking, and you know what they did?
Zipped it up.
I'm going to wait and see who wins this one here.
Wow.
Yeah. There'll be more on this, but I just want to give you Andy Arena. This is one of the most serious feds in America. Good one. Let's roll it. Andy Arena, welcome, brother.
Thanks for having me, Charlie.
Put that mic close to your face there, man.
How's that?
Good.
All right.
Give me your titles real quick for the people that don't know who you are.
Sure. Currently the executive director of the Detroit Crime Commission. I teach law school at Cooley, former head of the FBI here in the state of Michigan.
Okay, and you were also the special investigator in the Flint water debacle.
Yes, I was, for a period, the lead investigator under then Attorney General Bill Schuette.
Okay, so you're here because, let history show the date, September 6th, 2022, the Supreme Court refused to hear an appeal by Attorney General Dana Nessel in the Flint water case. What is it they refused to hear?
Well, there's been a number of issues. Obviously, the Supreme Court dealt recently with the one-man grand jury issue and said unconstitutional.
A judge cannot be the judge, the jury, the executioner. You can investigate, but you can't charge.
Exactly. Right. And so kick the charges, the pending charges.
On everybody, the governor.
We're done.
I'm done.
We're done with those.
We're done with that. The Supreme Court refuses to even consider the case that the appellate courts decided, which is this. Hey, the case is done. Whatever evidence you have, whatever charges you came up with, that's out the window. Start completely over.
Yeah, I mean, basically, so the first Supreme Court decision, right, on the one-man grand jury said you can't use it. These charges are no good.
Right.
I'm not really sure what the new Flint water team's position was. I think, reading between the lines, Charlie, I think they thought, okay, we'll take this evidence, we'll go back to the district court and maybe file a criminal complaint.
Yeah.
But that same judge already said, hey, this evidence might be tainted.
Like, I don't care who's charging these defendants. The way you went about interpreting the evidence was illegal because we don't know.
Potentially, yeah, to tainted everything.
So start over.
Yeah, basically.
And anybody in Nessel's camp who worked on this case must recuse themselves. They can't work on it now because they might be tainted in their mind as the things they might have illegally seen.
Possibly. See, that's kind of the crux of this whole thing is, so did that potentially privileged information taint all that other evidence? And did it taint those investigators and prosecutors? Because as you just said, Charlie, they saw it, right? You can't burn that out of your memory.
Look, let's not bore the audience.
Yeah.
It's done. All intents and purposes, it's done because, number one, you got to start over. That's going to take a couple of years. People's memories have faded. Then you're bumping into statute of limitations. Let me give the date. I believe the Flint water was switched over on April 24, 2014. The Supreme Court refuses to hear Nessel's motion. September 6th, 2022. It's 8.5 years. Even statute of limitation on murder is what, 10?
Well, that's probably the biggest issue you got, Charlie, is the statute of limitation, right? And you just mentioned memories fade. That's all true, but you're really up against the bumper here, right? It's going to be really, really difficult to go out and gather that information, potentially having to bring a whole new team in to investigate. It's going to be really difficult.
It's over, right? I mean,
for all intents and purposes,
it's
going to be really difficult. And I say,
Andy,
who loses? The people.
Andy, we got a lot of people listen to this program in Flint. I mean, a lot. Like, a lot of people just gave up on him and dropped it. We never did. As you know, you've been on the program many times. I think they're looking for, it's over now. They're looking for an honest appraisal of what's happened. And now that it's done, I think you can say the case is done.
People of Flint have gotten screwed over and over and over. This is just probably the last time.
It's the last time. That's the headline here. It's no more. Well, I think we have our answer now because nobody's spent a day in jail, have they?
No, and I don't think anybody will. I mean, justice, the people of the city of Flint, they're not getting justice.
No, that's on the criminal side.
On the criminal side.
That's just for people dying from legionnaires.
Lead poisoning.
And your part of it was the financial crimes. I mean, you had a racketeering case going, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what we were looking at, Charlie. I mean, I think there was some issues, we felt to be security fraud issues, some potential corruption issues up there to pay to play, stuff that people here in Detroit are very familiar with. Mm-hmm. It walks like a duck, it talks like a duck. That's kind of what we were looking at.
How close were you?
I think we were probably within 6 months.
Fuck. I'm not going to name names. It's over now, but I think we know. They all walking around.
Yeah.
They failed upward. Some of them.
They did.
And for some of these guys, Charlie, it wasn't their first rodeo, right? They've been around. They've done this before. They'll do it again.
Some of them have actually been FBI informants on other cases.
They'll do it again.
See, that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart.
And that's the truth. Big tech doesn't like it. Big political parties don't like it. But if you like it, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified. Remember, you can't sleep, watch the news. You want the news, no BS News Hour.